in that transition of finding beauty products that worked for me at home that weren't necessarily all professional grade, because again, there wasn't a whole lot of options, but I started to do more and more research, and it was tons and tons of trial and error because they didn't have all the products out there. If you're ready to create a salon business that thrives, but also aligns with your values of clean, holistic, and sustainable practices, then you're in the right place. Whether you're just getting started on your journey or you're already running a successful salon but crave more impact and clarity, this podcast is for you. We're going to dive deep into mindset, systems, and strategies that help salon owners like you grow and scale your business while staying true to your purpose. Every week, we are going to have real conversations about the challenges, the successes of running a holistic salon. And I'll give you my insider tips. So if you're ready to transform your salon into a powerhouse of purpose, profit, and peace, let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. And today, I am your host, Hannah Craik. As you can tell, we're doing something a little different on this episode. Instead of our usual host, Jacquelyn Rodriguez, we are welcoming her today as a guest on today's episode. You know her from kind of a little bit of everywhere when it comes to clean and holistic beauty. She is one of the Green Beauty Community co-founders. She is the GBC podcast host and one of their bi-monthly webinar hosts, as well as the owner of Enlightened Style Salon, founder of the Holistic Salon Academy, and of course, the host of her own podcast, Impactful Salon Owner. And as Adele once sang, hello from the other side. Hi, Jacquelyn. Welcome to the pod.
Hello, Hannah. This is so exciting.
I know, this is fun. I've never hosted before, and this is really fun to be kind of on the other side of this. So thank you for always interviewing me. It's a pleasure to interview you today.
Well, thank you. I like being on the other side too, right? It's a funny thing I had to learn how to enjoy is being able to be interviewed and, having people ask questions about you and not just always asking questions about everybody else. And the reason I bring that up is because it's, we do hard things. There's so many things out there that we're not comfortable doing, but learning how to break out of the box is kind of my MO. If it's hard and it's not something that I love to do, I learn to love it.
I love that. That is such a good mantra. Also, that is the most hairdresser thing ever. Yeah. Not talking about ourselves, very much kind of avoiding questions of ourselves and focusing it on our guest. So again, it's really great that we get to do that with you today because, we, especially, I have known you now for a year and a half, 2 years. And, a lot of Green Beauty community is familiar with you, but not a lot of people have heard, kind of I like to call it your hero origin story. And I've heard it plenty of times and I love it. I think it's, it's just it's a real story of when you understand, you're going through your journey of, oh my gosh, I want to do something different. And it's your light bulb moment. So then Jacquelyn, tell us how Jacquelyn Rodriguez started her sustainability story.
Well, what's funny is sustainability wasn't on my, the top of the list. What really came through first, was clean beauty. The ingredients. And, as you said, the light bulb moment, my light bulb moment started when I had these cute little toddlers running around crazy in my house. And I was cleaning the bathroom of all things, right? And these toddlers kept coming into the room and they kept wanting to just be with me. And you know what it's like to clean your bathroom with all of the things that we're supposed to clean our bathroom with, bleach and Clorox, and both of those are the same thing, but 409 or whatever. I don't even know what they are anymore. But they're really toxic. And it says it on the label. You keep all your products up away from your kids and your animals so that they don't get toxic poisoning. So I'm cleaning and I keep telling them, no, go into the other room. I'm going to finish cleaning and I'm going to come back to you. And for whatever reason that day, I had done this many times before. I was like, if I don't want my kids around it, why am I breathing it in? Why am I okay with using these things if it literally says on the label, hey, it's harmful to humans? But that's what we've been told, right? Use this. This is the only way your house gets clean. So that day, after the kids went to bed, I went down the rabbit hole. And the thing you might not know about me is once I make a decision and like I've looked at the ideas, and once I make a decision, I am all in. Okay. And that doesn't mean everybody who does this has to be all in, but that is just my personality. I go full force where I'm like, okay, I need to learn about it. I need to start implementing, and I just do things. I don't really hold back of like fear of wondering, well, what if it works? What if it doesn't work? Like, I just go for it. So that's what ended up happening is I went down this whole rabbit trail of what is actually in our products and what it's doing to us. And I'm sure you've been in that bathroom cleaning and you can't breathe. And I just decided to start looking for cleaner options. And that true light bulb moment took me from where I was to changing things slowly. Like, you can't go and change everything overnight, but I made the decision quickly where I really started to take steps to implement quicker. And I started changing things. And then the more that I started to change, I just dove more into research and taking the time to find what worked, what didn't work, and looking at the ingredients and what should I be looking for, because we don't know, like, we're not taught to know what to even look for because we're brainwashed to watch the, commercials and just follow what everybody else does. So that was kind of my start. Sustainability came a while later because I had to implement it in so many different ways.
Well, and honestly, I think it's so much easier to switch like cleaning products, for example. I remember switching when I switched cleaning products. It was one of like the concentrated cleaning tablets that you just, put in a spray bottle like filled with water and call it a day. And that was easy for me personally because that was always right. Like my first MO is how can I reduce? Yes. But that was right. That was my MO. And then, kind of implementing different products came later. So you're so right. It's one thing and then it always snowballs into something else, which is really great. And I love that you touched on the point of it doesn't have to happen right away. No one should expect to start doing all the things right away because, it's whether it's not going to stick, whether it's you're going to drive yourself crazy, you're going to end up creating more waste and more issues for yourself kind of down the line anyway. If it's like, oh, I have to throw away all this stuff because, I don't like what's in it. I need to learn all the things today. I mean, you're just going to be driven crazy. So, and I think that's a really great segue into, that was your holistic journey, the start of your holistic journey for you personally. So tell us a little bit how that entered into your beauty career. Because tell me, how long have you been in the beauty industry for?
So long. 26 years I have been in the beauty industry.
And you have owned your own salon for how long now?
13 years in January will be a full 13 years.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you.
So what did that look like then for you? Implementing more holistic and, holistic, clean, green and sustainable practices.
Yeah. So it started with that moment. I went forward and started changing everything. And again, this is my true MO is I do kind of go all in. So I try to do everything all at once. That was me then. I have learned how to slow down, kind of. I don't know. My friends and family who are watching this are probably like, no, she's still just as crazy. But the thing was like, I had to take it all into consideration because there were not that many products when I started this journey. Because that I've had my salon for 13 years, but I started that journey quite a few years before that. My son's 19, he was 2. So, it's been even longer and the products just weren't there. So I was having to go through and test all of these things out. So I would switch products for home at first, one at a time. Now, the thing that I really noticed and how I started it in the beauty space was, well, I was working for another salon that was just a traditional salon. It's all I knew. But I could tell a difference when I was home, had a few days of home in a clean space where there weren't as many toxins. I wasn't breathing things in, to how I felt when I would go into the salon around toxins all day long. And I didn't have like a huge health crisis, but I started to take note on how I felt. Slight headache midway through the day, rough, dry, itchy throat. My hands are outrageously dry, cracking. And I just kind of felt run down, but I didn't know any better. I thought that that's just how you felt after a full day of work in the salon. Until I started to really see the difference between home and there. I was working for another salon, so I couldn't really do much. So I started with my products at home. What hair care products was I using at home that could be cleaner? What about my makeup? What about my lotion? So I started to clean all that up. And as I was cleaning that up, I was also having this idea of like, okay, I need to create my own business. And I had started little here and there dabbling with travel salon. I started traveling to my clients' houses and I finally left the traditional salon. And so I would try it on my hair, try it on my clients who, trusted me in the travel salon area. And I would test things out and see what was working, what wasn't. And through that, I really dove in deep and I started to find these amazing companies. Oway was a huge part of that transition for me because now I've been an full Oway salon for 10 years. Those 3 years prior, I was looking for things and I would test things out and that fear and that whole idea that everybody has of like, it doesn't work as well. Well, 13 years ago, it didn't. And then I found things like Oway and InnerSense and even Insight. Like there's so many more brands now. And that is how I started to bring it into the salon, but one product at a time. And I got really clear on why this was important to me and how I could actually have that same result without feeling the way I did, without having to breathe in all those chemicals and having to worry about that day in and day out.
That also must be so difficult and that's the way to do it, right? One product at a time. But that must be so interesting. Actually, so tell us, like, what did that look like for your clients? Like, how did you explain that to them? How did you talk about your mission? were they always, very open-minded? Did you get any bad feedback? Like, tell us a little bit more about what that looked like.
Yeah, so my clients trusted me. I had relationships with clients that I had been working with them for years. But I won't lie, I lost some clients because as I started to bring them on, they didn't know. So none of my clients knew because, again, it wasn't a thing and it wasn't popular. It wasn't a trend the way that it is now. Clients had zero idea. And I live in a small little town in Virginia. So we really, nobody was talking about that. It wasn't a thing. So when I brought it on, they're like, okay, great. I mean, I don't care what you use on me. What's the end result? And I'm like, well, we can get you that end result. Like, I found it. I found the product that can give you that end result that you're looking for, but is not going to harm either one of us. So they didn't really care. And I had, some clients were fine. And then as I started to really hone in on what that vision and mission was, because the more I worked with it, the more I put time and money and energy into like refining my products, refining my services to include more and more clean. And then, the whole sustainability thing came. And that's where like they go hand in hand, because once you're clean, like having cleaner ingredients and products, then you also you start to look at, well, what is the end result of this going to happen? Like, what's happening to this? Because we can't just throw things away. So all of that started to tie together, and I got clear on my mission. I lost some clients, but let me tell you, I had no idea what was going to happen. I know that once I got clear and I started educating my clients and telling them and marketing, that whole marketing piece of how I'm unique, how I'm different, and how I'm still giving you beautiful results without all the stuff, brought in so many new clients that then were looking for that product. And that's how my entire business shifted, was because all of a sudden I had people reaching out to me and be like, hey, I heard that you use this product. I heard that you recycle, or you are not using toxic ingredients. Like, my mom has cancer and she can't use color. Like, what can we do? And that really exploded everything. And the more that I honed in and the more that I got clear, the more there was no denying that this was not only needed, but it's possible. And I was making a profit. It wasn't, I mean, I have 2 kids. I have a husband. I have to make money. Like, it's not like my husband is making tons of money and don't have to worry about it. Like, we had to have a 2-income household. So I had to be smart about how I was spending my money. I couldn't just throw it around. So I had to make sure that I could use the products that were luxurious and top of the line, but also not waste money. So I had to figure out that balance, and then the marketing piece.
Well, do you feel like it is especially more profitable now because there is more of that market, or, right? That trend is growing, whether it's,
Yes.
you know, a, clean, or, clean or green or sustainable beauty really seems to be forecasting in the trends to, growing by, hundreds of billions of dollars, or tens of billions of dollars. Right, big industry. Same with like different packaging, same with services that were once so expensive now be basically free, or just more accessible. Do you feel like that has also helped? I mean, obviously, right, people are seeking you out for that, so that profit's growing. But do you also feel like because of accessibility and the trend really going towards clean, green, sustainable beauty, do you think that has also helped your bottom line as well too?
100%, because it's all compounding on each other, right? You have to have the knowledge. You got to know what you want to do. So your foundation has to be strong. So many of us, we're just kind of thrown into the beauty industry and they're like, hey, you could do all of this. Just be a stylist. Like, we can take on everybody. We can do all the things. And building your unique foundation was a critical piece. And then layering on top of that, the right clients, the marketing. But the whole thing is if nobody knows about it, that was my uphill battle. I had to educate tons on it to get people, almost to convince them, because at that time nobody knew. Now that the convincing has lessened quite a bit, we're still not where we need to be. Like, I don't know the exact percentage, but I know that we have a very low percentage still of stylists across the world who are sustainable, right? So many areas don't even still know that that's an option. I still get people into my salon every time. Like, every week, I think we have clients coming in going, I didn't even know this was an option. I didn't know you were here. I didn't know that we could have clean beauty. So we're still battling that, but it has made things so much easier. And if it's easier now, imagine the future, right? The more that we start to campaign for it, the more that we have salons building those types of unique experiences for these clients, it is only going to get cheaper because the demand goes up. The products, they can't no longer hold that really high standard because they don't have that demand. The demand will make the products cheaper. And, that's really bringing it all together. And that's why we do so much education through the green beauty community and through, all of the things that I do, is because we still need that awareness.
So then I love then that this can kind of tie in with it. So, I mean, I say this all the time. I'm always so impressed with what you've built. If I have never been one that wanted to own a salon, but you, like, watching what you've done with your salon always makes me feel like, I'm like, you know what, this would be so fun. So and I know that of course, 13 years with a salon, people go through so many different ideas and practices, and you have touched on that too.
Yeah.
So tell us, these past 13 years, you have tried so many different business ideas that match the values in your salon. So what has that looked like since you've opened? Like, the ideas you've started out with, but maybe no longer, maybe you have ditched along the way, or you're like, that is just logistically not going to work, or just practices that you have adopted and are like really working well for you. Like, what does Enlightened Style Salon look like?
Well,
in its history?
How long do we have? No. So when I started Enlightened Styles, I honestly started because I was like, I can't stand working at these other salons anymore, because not just the toxic ingredients, but the toxic mindset and the limiting freedom that I had. I was driving an hour to and from. My kids were little. I did not get to see them. And I sat down with my manager and I'm like, look, I got to be able to see my kids. I can't leave at 5 o'clock in the morning and not get home until 7 or 8. It's just not working. And the response I got from that manager was, well, I haven't had dinner with my daughter in like 3 or 4 months. So my response back was like, okay, well, that's your choice. And I'm coming and I'm saying specifically, this doesn't work for me. What can we do? And it was clear that it was not going to work out. So that's where I started to like bring this to life. And the reason I brought it to life was because I was at a crossroads. It was, I either keep working so much and not see my family and miss out, or I start my own thing. So I started my own thing, and literally the only thing I could think of was, I just need butts and seats. I need people in the seat to pay me. I don't care what I'm doing. So I started the traveling. I was doing makeup and hair for weddings. I was traveling and working just as much, if not more, than I was for the other company. But it was my own thing. So I had to learn and kind of evolve. And I failed a lot, a lot. There was a lot of things. And I'll never forget this moment where I sat down with a business coach for the first time. First off, I had no idea what a business coach was. And I'm like, okay, I was doing networking and I'm like, sure, well, we can go have lunch. Sat down and had, lunch at Panera and we're eating. And he's like, okay, well, where do you see your business going? Like, what are your goals? Like, what? What do you mean? What are my goals? I need to make more money. I need more clients so I can make more money. And that's it. And after working with him, that's where I started to really realize the value that I could give and the possibilities of really growing the business and it not only sustaining and letting my family thrive, but that I could actually do something. Right. That was a big, big movement for me. And I tried so many things throughout that. I mean, I even started my own makeup line and it was fantastic and exciting. And I dove all deep into that. And then I closed it down because it no longer aligned with my values. So I think I've gone on a tangent, but the the whole idea behind Enlightened Styles is just keep moving forward and providing a service that I can stand behind, that I love, that is unique to me, and that provides, my clients with a wonderful place to come in and find what they're looking for and feel like they fit in and that they belong there and they're getting an experience that nowhere else can give you and being able to be flexible. Because if I look at that moment that I sat down with that business coach, I had no idea what I was doing in business, zero. 13 years later, if I look back and say, would you be doing what you're doing now? I would have said, hell no. Like I had no idea where I was going. And because I have learned how to really tap into my intuition and listen to what I want and the opportunities that come up without hesitation. I mean, I hesitate. Don't get me wrong. Like there's moments where I'm scared. The things that I do in my business, I'm scared. I have a lot of fear behind it. And I still do it because I know on that other side of fear is where the magic happens, where the things that I never even knew or had even a little sparkle of idea, that's where those things live. And that's what I want in my life.
That's so beautiful. Well, one, I know it's just because I just watched Hook like the other week, but that actually reminds me so much of like the Peter Pan quote where it's like oh shoot, what is it? I don't know why I mentioned it when I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like where I'll be is the place in between dreaming and being awake, and that's where I'll always love you. A little bit off, but
Yeah.
it really is right. It's where your sparkle is, and truly acting and enacting is the only difference between it. And I mean, you and I say this all the time. You have to mess around to find out if it's going to be something that works with you. Where is innovation and creativity without, without doing the thing? And if you're going to fail, it's going to be scary, but then it's, then you really get to create something that's so cool and so different. Like a couple things that I love about Enlightened Styles, for example, is I love that you are a salon that refills, because because that's something I ask a lot of salon owners in general, where it's like, what's keeping you from from doing that, because realistically you're saving a little bit more, even though it takes up a lot of room, you're saving still though a lot of room. There are more brands that are doing it. A lot of people are already carrying the brands that do offer that. And, it is the incentive of keeping people coming back. And, a lot of people are like, I just, I don't really know. I just don't want to do it. Or, I'm nervous to do that. Or, they don't really get it. So they don't really want to. And again, that's fear, right? That's fear. Sometimes that's just lack of accessibility. Sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, it really is a lack of room too. But you are someone who really believed in that process and wanted to, and you're doing that. You have also plastic free options. Like I know, you have shampoo bars, you have, you offer Reiki services, you offer head spa services, which you really have curated your salon to match the values that you practice every day. So, and again, like you said, it is scary every single time, but if without doing it, you're also not following, what drives you in the morning too. So
it was the difference between burnout or like getting out of the industry completely, or making something that I could love and that drove me out of bed, that I truly felt passionate about. And that's what I feel like a lot of salon owners are missing, because it can be mundane, because it can be a lot in the weeds. Like, being a salon owner is not for the faint of hearts. And you got to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do. I mean, let me tell you. And it's funny now, because in the academy, I've had a lot of people like, you're so organized and all like the spreadsheets and the this and the that. I'm like, if you knew me 13 years ago, like, no one would have believed you would have said that organized goes with Jacquelyn, because it's what I had to learn to do, because you do get in the weeds. You have to do things that is not so passion fueled, right? Because you got to keep the lights on, you got to, hire and fire and this and that. And all these things are not the creative thing that I got into doing hair for, right? So I had to find that passion. And the passion came when I got really clear on what unique thing I wanted my salon to be known for. What was I doing differently that came from me? Like, this you see in Light and Styles, that is me. I have put everything that makes me unique into that business, and it attracts people who've been looking for that person, looking for that salon to belong, to be a part of, to support in such a way that you do kind of lose passion for, if you're just doing the mundane things that you have to do and there's nothing driving you out of bed every day.
So, and I love that you say that, because especially my salon emulates me, right? Yeah. And you have especially had because of the lack of accessibility, because of the lack of options, your experience has really shaped you into, where you are today. What are some offerings that you offer through Enlightened Styles that align with your mission, and how has that helped your business?
Yeah, so we actually offer quite a bit of different services from a traditional salon. So we offer low toxic colors and cuts, but we focus more on the other experiences. So we provide Reiki treatments, sessions. We do the head spa, which has been a huge thing. So head spa all broke out on TikTok, like, the last year and a half or so, and was everywhere. But we've been doing head spas for the last 10 years, just without the fancy waterfall thing, right? So with that, I saw that it was a big demand, and I started to restructure things to bring in more of that that whole experience around it, rather than just what we had been doing for a while, is the scalp treatments. So we offer now the full head spa experience. We have PEMF mats that are healing and helpful and focused on wellness. Those are, other products. One of my stylists is into the vibrational healing. So she offers, yes, those beautiful Tibetan bowls where she puts them on your like muscles, and you just have this beautiful experience. We do sound bath sessions, and we obviously are very focused on educating around clean and sustainable beauty. So we have events. Like we had an event this summer of a clothing swap and a beauty product swap. So teaching our clients like what they can do has been a really big thing. And then one of our favorite things that we've really started to implement this year was the refillery. Now, again, just like I was doing the scalp treatments for the last 10 years, I was refilling the shampoos for the last 10 years. But I didn't create an experience around it until this year. And I fully went with the refillery. Shampoos, conditioners, dip shampoo bars. We have all sorts of different experiences, all focused on clean and sustainable beauty. And our clients are absolutely loving it. It has been a fairly easy thing because a lot of it we already did. Like just even in regular salons, to make that transition is more mindset and just the know-how, which, by the way, in the Holistic Academy, you get my whole spreadsheet on how to price things out for the refillery. So of the things that you already have, right? That's the key point. Like you don't have to go buy a ton of different things. You're already using these things, just shifting the way that you're presenting them to your clients. And the clients are a big part of all of this, educating them on what these different services are, because they're not traditional services. Not a whole lot, not everyone knows what a refillery is. So the education behind that, and then that education, really, it puts us in a position where our clients trust us wholly, like completely. They trust what we're having to say because we're no longer in this mindset of retail, like you have to buy 17 products. Thank you. Goodbye. We don't do that. We have shifted the way that we take care of our client experience, and our clients notice it, and they love coming back in. And it has actually solved a lot of the retail problems we've had, where it's sold on Amazon, it's sold in the 10 salons near you, and they pick it up at Walmart or Target. We created an experience around it where they go out of their way to come back into the salon because of that experience.
Well, and you also partner with some, right, with some really great brands that are very aware of those problems too, and really support small business. Like, OA, you've mentioned, and you've had them, for so long. You said 10 years you've been using OA, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Away. Dip is also known for Dip and Plain products are both known for supporting small businesses. That like they're other big like retailers that they work with are refilleries and zero waste shops. So it's such a natural transition to go into salons too, right? Which is, and how cool that there's, again, more accessibility because there's brands that care and saw that gap in the market and wanted to fill it in a very holistic way, in a way that helps support the local economy and, right, small businesses. And right, it keeps them coming back and helping build that, like you said, trust and relationship with you.
Exactly. And in the academy, one of the pieces I teach you is how do you even find what your niche is for your products, right? Because you can buy so many products, but when you know what you are willing to deal with and not willing to deal with, because let's just say, for example, right, the one controversial thing is plastic, glass, or aluminum, right? We have been on plenty of podcasts, plenty of webinars where it depends. It depends on what your belief stance is and what you are doing about it. So while I believe one thing, I'm not telling you to do that in the academy. I'm telling you, okay, so what's important to you? Let's build it around that. So I teach you how I built out my 7 steps in my retail where a product does not come on my shelves unless it can check each one of those boxes that I have personally built out. Right. And then that way, when I go and I interview these products and I'm looking and trying and, doing all of that, it's a very easy way to bring products in that align so beautifully with your mission. And then it's all aligned. It's all true and what's that word I'm looking for? Like authentic. Mm-hmm. Authentically what pairs up with your unique brand. So when I have looked at these brands, it has been so much easier to open and create a refillery because I had brands that like Little Seed Farms. And again, these are things that I personally love and use, and they're all here, right? So we refill deodorant. We refill all sorts of things. Like now it's everywhere. But all of these things are so tied to my brand. And that is what is so appealing to my stylists. They have a say in it. Ultimately, it's my decision, but I bring my stylists on board and allow them to say, like, hey, I like this product. Like, what do we think? Like, is it clean enough? Is it aligning with our values? And it just brings our clients back in such a beautiful, authentic way where we are not competing with Amazon or the salons down the road or Walmart or Target. We just simply aren't.
So you started your Holistic Salon Academy last year, and it's just about time to bring people in and start a new cohort. So give us a little bit more in depth about what is the Holistic Salon Academy and what can people expect from it?
Yeah. So it has been such an exciting year to have the first cohort of the Academy. Loved it. And
me too.
So many, yeah, because
I got to be a part of it. Sorry.
I loved it. I love it. But it was so much fun. And before I started the Academy, I actually was doing for quite a few years one-on-one coaching. So very much one-on-one. What do you need? What were some challenges that salon owners were having? And I transformed that into the Academy because I wanted to help more people. And so all the knowledge from the last 13 years of building a business and then seeing problems one-on-one with other salon owners, I took that, and that is what the Academy is. And the Academy is, we've got modules and course, stuff that you go through. But the biggest part that I love is that group coaching. So you're a part of that like-minded community. And when we bring you in, you're getting the community, you're getting the support. It's smaller groups because I like to be very involved and help you break down the different problems and the solutions that need to be for your unique space. So we go through that, and the Academy is broken down into 3 pillars. So we've got leadership mindset. That's where all the neuro coaching comes in. That's where the energy and really aligning yourself with who it is you want to be. What kind of salon owner do you want to be? We break all of that down and we create new subconscious thoughts for you to be that person. So we really break down more than, it's not just mindset, it is who you're being in your salon so that you can have and attract that type of clientele, that type of stylist to work with you, assistants, whatever it is that you want. And once we have that piece where you are very aligned and cleared with your unique vision and mission, that's when we get into pillar number 2, which is the holistic ecosystem. And that is the meat and potatoes of where I give you the actual spreadsheets, the systems, how I've built everything. We break down step by step how to create that and implement that into your own business. So all of the organizational stuff that I was talking about, you get all that.
Well, and just to kind of go a little bit deeper, these are pre-created spreadsheets that really help your organization and how and explain those a little bit more, because obviously I know these, but not everyone else does, which, by the way, these are great, but I wanted to really highlight that these are pre-created organizational tools.
Yes. So we break down, because you got to know what your profit is, how you're going to price your products, how much everything's costing, everything overhead. So you get those budgeting types where you can really hone in and see where you need to be. And you also get the price breakdown, the cost breakdown of different products. So like if you're looking and researching, because I have a ton of resources there for you. If you're looking at all these products and you're looking to see which one you can bring on, I have the whole price breakdown for you. So you don't have to go try to find these all yourself. I've done the work and the legwork for you. So there's pricing calculators, there is budgeting sheets, the sheets to be able to actually price out your services and know which ones are making you a profit, which ones you're losing money on. Then you also get, what else do you get? I'll cut this part out, but those, oh my gosh, there was something else like right on the top of my head.
Content organization. No, sorry. I'm lying. It's goal setting.
Yes.
Which
you're right.
Which I personally have, utilized and really love using. They are these, it's like, what is it, 90-day goals, but you go through it kind of week by week, month by month. So it doesn't necessarily feel overwhelming. Which I know really helped me. And I think it really helps a lot of, especially beauty professionals tend to, be just so creative, which is great. That usually is not the same side of the brain as owning a business. That, sometimes it's just very different work. I know for me, that's personally harder for me to own a business. And a reason why I never owned a salon is you are right. You're the person who has to do everything. So whether it's, keeping tabs on, whether it's marketing, whether it's, sitting down to create your, a quarterly plan, are you adding services to, your business? It's really helpful just staying on track. That I personally, again, really loved using it. It really helped me. So, that's always my favorite one to talk about.
That's right. And thank you for bringing that one up because, there's so many things in it meant to help you wherever you're at. And the one thing I love about the goal setting, the way that I've done it, is I am a certified master neuro coach. So I have taken that proven system and broken it down into a way that you can implement everything. So you're creating this big vision, right? And then we break it down side by us, step by step, day by day, week by week. But not only that, this is aligning with your new subconscious thought that we're also simultaneously creating. So when I say that you're learning to be that salon owner, that's what we're doing, right? We're really taking the subconscious thoughts that are holding you back, we're breaking them down, creating new ones for you to be able to actually be that salon owner. And then we're having your goals align with that new being. So it's not your traditional, like, just here's 90 days, like break it down, SMART goal system. It's directly related to your personalized new subconscious thoughts that we create in that container.
So first pillar is leadership. Second
Yeah.
is, I'm sorry, remind me what the second,
The
like the name of
holistic
the pillar.
ecosystem.
The holistic ecosystem. I want to call it organization tools, so I apologize. And then our third pillar, and then your third pillar is
the client attraction. That's where we take your new subconscious thoughts that are tied to your vision and your mission in that first pillar. We then take the entire ecosystem that you have created for your systems of everything. So budgeting, all the things that we've talked about, but also in that module, the ecosystem module, we are actually breaking down how you keep track of things and create systems so that this is no longer just something that you have to do all the time. We're talking about bringing other people into your business and helping you and supporting you, and you get those systems to set yourself up for success so that it's not overwhelming. If you just have to keep reinventing the wheel, then that's what's overwhelming, right? And we also create systems on what your client experience is from start to finish. And I don't mean just a consultation and when they leave, from the website, the social media, all the way to before they come back for their next appointment. That is their ecosystem. And you create that whole system in the academy. And then once you have those pieces, that's when we start to lean into educating your clients on what your new vision and mission is. And we learn that messaging on how to then attract more clients that are 100% looking for you, waiting for you to open your doors and tell them all about your business. And the stylists that want to be there. We learn how to start to craft a message that is going to get you those new clients, new stylists, and get you out in front of the media.
Awesome. I mean, and truly it is you have put a lot of work into it, and it shows how passionate you are about, just what you're teaching, which in my opinion, I think that is, that sets you apart because it's very mindful. It's very detailed. And I mean, you really thought of everything, of even just the the people that are taking, that are in your academy, and our experience with it, making it very accessible, making it very easy to flow with, and, just very, it flows really well.
Thank you. Well, and that's where, from working with you all for the last year, I really we saw how, like, this takes time. So here's the thing about the academy is I'm not just going to give you these systems and you're like, okay, done. It's in the business and that's it. It does take work to create a business like this. And that's why we had originally talked about just doing like a 4-month, container. I have extended it this year where it's going to be the full year. You get a full year container with me so that you have the time to ask for the support, do the work, and then implement it, right? And that was important to me because I don't want this just to be another thing that you open up once or twice, feel overwhelmed, and can't do. I want it to be there to support you throughout the time. And that's why I've built it out where there's a lot of hot seat coaching, lots of time where you can come in, ask your questions. So you get the systems, but you also get that support on top of it. So when you are running into issues or it's not working, like you get that community there. So that was really important to me. And that came from the feedback of the first cohort, you know?
And we were very lucky to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Taking your experience from the beginning of your career, what are some things you wish you had available when you first started? And how are you helping others in their own journey? Because you do a lot of coaching, consulting. You are the founder of the Holistic Salon Academy. So what are some things that you like to support other professionals? Well, and just kind of everyone in general. I know you have, non-beauty professional clients as well.
Yeah, I do. Your first question was like, what would I do differently? And this is a question that I have really kind of gone back and forth on. And, would I have changed things? Because I did not have anyone in the industry help me through this process. I was all alone trying to figure out how to make it work and how to implement it. And I was battling against everybody else telling me that it couldn't be done, that it wasn't possible, that I was wasting my time, that I was, not going to make it. And when I look at that, I honestly don't know that I would change anything because it fueled me in a way that if somebody was there, making me do it or whatever, like, I just don't know that I would be fueled in the same way. So I don't think that I would go back and change anything. But what I do is I want to be that support system for the beauty industry. So I took all of these 13 years of testing, trial, error, learning how to be organized, quite honestly, like seriously learning that skill, because that was not my MO. Ask my family. I'm the most disorganized person. I was. And taking those systems and processes and what's working, what's not, and the mindset. I became a neuro coach because I knew at the time that if my mindset didn't change, I was going to go nowhere. So I became a neuro coach and dove into that and added that into my practice, added that into my services and to who I am, like that unique package. That's who I am. I did meditation and Reiki and learned those things and brought that into these practices of learning how to be a successful salon owner, learning how to be a human that can listen to my intuition and make decisions and take action, not just dream. I'm a big dreamer. I love vision, like creating a vision, but then it's taking the action to actually make that vision happen. And bringing all those pieces together, I want to help other salon owners so you don't have to go do all of those. I want to give you the systems and the support that I wish I had in the beginning because I didn't, right? So that's how I have been helping the industry. And I truly, I believe beyond belief that not only can we have a cleaner industry and a more sustainable industry that is not creating the amount of waste that we currently have, but we can bring wellness and beauty go together. But when you really take a look at the traditional beauty standards, everything about the traditional beauty standards goes completely against wellness, right? So I believe so deeply that we can start to make these changes, and I will scream it from the rooftops and help as many as salon owners as I possibly can make those shifts, take out the guesswork, take out the frustration and the endless nights of research and trial and error, and support them in that way.
So, and that's fantastic. I mean, even becoming a neuro coach, because that is, that really does go hand in hand with do business when you're trying to change. I mean, it really does start with mindset.
Yeah.
So, as we're kind of wrapping up this episode, what are you most, I guess, what are you most proud of what you put back into the industry and supporting your beauty professionals, whether it's the entire academy in hand, whether it's the way you're doing the different classes you have in there, whether it's the partnerships or collaborations you've done in the last 13 years. What are you the most proud of?
That's a tough question because there's so much that I am really proud of. But I think as a true mom, like I'm the most proud that I get to show my kids to feel fear and to keep going. If it's something you're passionate about, like just keep going. And who cares what other people say? Like nobody thought I'd be able to make it in this type of business. Well, shoot, they didn't think that I should be a hairstylist to begin with 26 years ago, right? So blazing trails, I am all for it. Like, I don't care if nobody else has done it in front of me. And I see my kids taking those same types of steps. My son is amazing and he is just doing so many cool things. And like, I love to see his mind go and think this way. Cause I feel like he's like me, where he's got a very entrepreneurial spirit. And then my daughter, she's the first girl wrestler on her team, the first girl wrestling captain. And, it was scary. It was scary for her, but she felt the fear and kept going. So my proudest moment is just to be able to be there to teach my kids that you can do anything that you want, no matter what other people say. And it's not just for my kids, because other entrepreneurs, other stylists, other, my clients even, I live and breathe that. And I know that it can be scary, but I love to be on that side to just walk you through, help you through, and shift those little things for you to be able to take those steps out of your comfort zone too.
That's really incredible. Jacquelyn, thanks again for being able to highlight just what you're doing and what you're doing for the industry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was so much fun.
Yeah, this is great. We should, I'll interview again sometime.
Yes, you should.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. And Jacquelyn, we know where we can find you, but drop your info anyway.
Yeah, you can always find me. I'm mostly on Instagram. You can always message me there, but Clean Beauty Biz Coach. And then follow the podcast. The Impactful Salon Owners Podcast is mine, and follow Green Beauty Community Podcast and the webinars. I try to be everywhere because I love this stuff. So I would do this even, no matter what. So you can find me a lot of places.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you again, Jacquelyn, and see you on the next ep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I hope today's episode gave you valuable insight and inspiration to take your salon to the next level. Before you go, I wanted to remind you that the Holistic Salon Academy is opening up soon. So if you're ready to dive deeper into clean, holistic, and sustainable salon practices and build a truly impactful business, be sure to join the waitlist. By signing up, you'll be the first to access all of the details and exclusive content before anyone else. You definitely don't want to miss out. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps to grow the show and reach more salon owners just like you. And lastly, come hang out with me on Instagram at Clean Beauty Biz Coach, where I'm a real life person who loves to connect with you. I'm always in my DMs answering your questions and would love to chat more over there. Thanks again for being here, and remember, every step forward is a step towards lasting change. Until next time.